Hello, we're here at AQS QuiltWeek at the Spring Paducah Quilt Show 2019, and I have some students with me today, and I'm going to talk to Hannah. And tell us the school you're from.
I'm from Dorado, Illinois.
And this is what class?
FCC. Well, the club's FCCLA, and it's home ec class, foods, clothing, and cooking.
Okay, and so the first question I'm going to ask is, have you made any quilts?
I've tried, but it hasn't turned out.
Okay.
At all.
Well, you know what? I would suggest that you, they do some classes in the summertime at the Quilt Museum, the National Quilt Museum here. That's actually they do a fun project. So if you're interested in learning how to, that would be a good way. Or if you have a local quilt shop in your area, I would always suggest that you take a class because you'll learn those basic techniques. I teach the basic techniques. I teach how to get a perfect 1/4 of an inch seam, how to put the borders on your quilt. I've written 13 books on quilting. So the basics is really what I teach, because once you know how to put a quilt together and do it properly, then you can make what you're seeing here in this quilt show. And have you been inspired?
Kind of, yes, really.
Yes?
Yeah, it's really amazing, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's like overwhelming, and it's just a lot of people.
Well, and so I would suggest as you walk through the quilt show that you look for those traditional designs like Grandma used to make, and you'll find a lot of star quilts, sampler quilts that have many different blocks in it, and so you can kind of pick out your favorites that you might like. And then I would look at color schemes. What color schemes really catch your attention? One of the things that the judges look for when they judge these quilts is first they're going to look at the design. So that would be like the stars or whatever. They're going to look at how well did you do color. Sometimes you want it muted, and so you don't want much contrast. Other times maybe you want high contrast so that star really shows up.
Yeah.
Okay? And then once they've looked at color design, they're going to look at the workmanship, the detail, and then they get down to the nitty-gritty of, are there stitches even? Are there stops and starts hidden? You don't see the thread. You don't use white thread on black fabric. You know, those kinds of things. And I can tell you, they saw some of that in some of the quilts, and those obviously probably were not the winners.
Yeah.
But as you go through the show, be inspired by something. You know, take a picture of a quilt that you really liked, and then figure out how to make that. And the other thing I would suggest is that you start with a small project. Don't start with a bed-size quilt. You won't ever finish it. You won't ever finish it. I have one of those that's not finished. I did a sampler, but I learned how to make all these different blocks, and I put them together, and my mistake was I used a solid block that was polyester and cotton, and the other blocks were 100% cotton. That doesn't sew together very well. So I've never quilted it, but I learned off of that sampler what I needed to do to be able to make quilts that I had a show that won a prize here at Paducah a number of years ago. And so, you know, you just start at the beginning, make a small project, and then get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And so what kind of projects have you been sewing?
Well, recently we've done like paper piecing quilts, and we've done jelly roll pillowcases.
Okay.
And we kind of do like small projects like scrunchies and hairbands, and just a bunch of fun little things we do.
Gosh, I wish if I'd have been thinking, I did a book on paper piecing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's been our new thing this year. Is we started with a paper piecing, and we have some that just really rocked it. And trying to teach them to look and think in reverse, you know, because they have to hold it up to the light. And we're a school, we can't afford all the light boxes, so they have to kind of hold it.
Use the windows.
Right.
Yes.
But some of them have just really, you know, they've come up with some excellent projects.
Well, and one thing about paper piecing is that it is not fast. A lot of people think that paper piecing is fast. What it is, it's accurate.
Right.
So if you're doing some of those designs that have those sharp, spiky points, perfect way to use the paper piecing.
Yeah.
So, and are y'all enjoying sewing? Are you? All right. Well, I want you to take a tour around the show and pick out your favorite and make sure you take a picture of it.
Oh, we have probably, I think I have 200 some odd pictures right now.
Already.
That's awesome.
Okay, well, welcome to the show.
Thank you for
and
having us.
I hope one day some of you will feel confident enough that you'll enter a quilt in the AQS Quilt Contest.
I do too.
All
I
right.
would love to see one of my students' quilts up there.
All right, and if you're a
So-
student out there, we hope that you will take a look around the AQS Quilt Week show and enter your quilt someday in the future.